this is Hayley from Pop Evil, and you are listening to Shutter 16 magazine. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Everything's very quiet, but I'm well.
Well, that's good. That's good. How are things? You're in England right now?
Yeah. I'm in London at the moment, where I live, so managed to get back here in time for the lockdown. I was actually finishing up the recording of the album, and we kind of shifted things along a bit quicker and got everything done a day early so I could catch a flight early. It was all very close to the wire, but made it back. So
that's good. That's good. So Pop Evil just released these two great singles, but two very different tracks as well. So let's talk about Let the Chaos Reign, and see, it's being described as heavy. Obviously, it's a harder song. Tell us a little bit about how that one kind of came together and kind of the meaning behind that one.
I'm not too sure. I don't get involved in the lyrics of any kind of Pop Evil song. It's all kind of Lee's zone.
Okay.
But I think, we have led quite a kind of chaotic life. And we kind of stepped away, maybe, I think it was the beginning of October last year. This is the crazy thing. Before lockdown, we'd taken some time off because it was well overdue, and then lockdown happened. It's like, oh my gosh, we're going to get even more time off. Crazy. But yeah, so I think it kind of stemmed from everything being so chaotic, and it kind of does tie together with work. We definitely, I can only speak for myself, but I think I speak for the rest of the guys as well. When we were finishing up the album cycle of the previous album, we definitely felt like we were ready for some time off and a break. They've been going at it, how long Pop Evil been going? About 12 years. This is album 6, and they've just been relentless from the get-go. So they were definitely deserving of some time off, and, all I do is work. All the people I see on my phone, it's definitely, as I said, I don't get involved with lyrics, but I definitely kind of relate to them. It's definitely time for some time at home, just not this amount of time at home.
Well, none of us wanted this much, but what about all the, I love the groove. I love the groove on Work.
I'm glad you like the groove, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like the groove on both of them.
I do.
Very different songs, but...
Now, the song Work in particular, because it does have some of the EDM flourishes on there, was that kind of meant to happen as the song was first written, or did that kind of happen as the recording process took place in the studio?
That was definitely in there from the get-go.
Okay.
The demo version of the song was lending itself more towards that side, and it was, sort of getting in the studio and bringing the kind of rock to it. That came second. I had so much fun on that song. Literally, they just let me go. They were like, right, Hayley, what do you want to do over this? It's like, we're not even going to overthink it. Like, what drums do you want to play? And I was actually in 606 for that one, which is the Foo Fighters studio, and there was all of kind of like Taylor Hawkins drums, and there was just rotor toms just sort of lying around the studio, and I was like, do you know what? I want to go all out, like Queen, Big Phils, Taylor Hawkins, rotor toms. Let's just get all the drums out and let me go over this song, and that's it kind of sprung to life from that. So it's the real kind of, I suppose, blend of the, as you say, the electronic and EDM kind of side of things, and then the rock of live instruments, the perfect blend. I have a lot of fun whenever electronics are there as a base. It definitely sets my imagination off, and it's a lot of fun to play big, loud drums over it. So that's kind of how it was. Kind of how it was born in the studio. It was definitely just, Hayley, get in there, just do your thing, see what comes out, and have a lot of fun. And when I listen back to the track, that's what I hear, and I have a big smile over my face. But if there was a drum there, I hit it.
It's a great song, and I'm glad you had so much fun doing it, because it comes across.
I'm so looking forward to doing that one live. Some people are going to think, really electronic. How are they going to do it live? Oh my God, it's going to be amazing live. Like, it's just oozing massive drum fills. And any drummer wants that in their arsenal, you know. Oh, this is the song where I get to play loads of big drums.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. We can't wait to hear that one. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, awesome.
Now, what about you? You said you kind of all decided to take a break and concentrate on the writing of this album. How does the band as a whole kind of approach that process? Do you guys kind of float ideas back and forth, or do you all kind of get together and hash them out?
I mean, it was a different writing process last album, for sure. Last album, we kind of all locked ourselves away in the same house together and did the old school thing of, I suppose recreating that kind of mates at school in a garage. But this album, I think, we'd seen so much of each other. It was all the writing was sort of simmering away whilst we were on the road, and then it was sort of collecting all our ideas from afar and bringing them all together once we got to the studio. And this time as well, it was different. We did all of the album in LA, whereas last album we did a mix of Sound Emporium in Nashville and guitars and vocals in LA. But this time we decided all of it was LA. I think we all wanted the LA sunshine. So
that's a nice thing. That's a nice thing to have, for sure. Now, did the quarantine affect any of this at all, or was all this work completed prior to the lockdowns?
It was literally completed days before the lockdown.
Okay.
As far as all the playing, there's still stuff being like mixed and mastered, which is very exciting. But obviously, that's fine to have that being done now, because that can be done in isolation.
Right.
But as far as all the recording of the instrumentation, yeah, that was, as I said, I kind of upped my game and rushed my parts a little bit in order to get that flight home. So it was a bit of a scary time, but also exciting. I would go into the studio, I would put my headphones on, record a take, and while I was putting that drum part down, I was like, what is going on the news while I'm doing this? And I come out of my bubble, look at my phone, and there've been tours cancelled. Live Nation, this has happened. Trump had said this.
Right.
England had said this. I was like, oh my, literally in the sort of hour or so I'd been in the studio, the whole world had changed, and every time I went in to the take, that was on my mind, and I will always listen back to this album and remember that feeling very vividly.
I'm sure now. Is it
scary but exciting as well? You know that this is hopefully never going to happen again, and has never happened. It was just so shocking, and I think that's really gone into my kind of drum playing. It was a very different energy taken to the drums on the back end of the album. So yeah, we'll see how it comes out.
Now, is it going to affect the release date at all, or do we have a kind of time frame for that?
I don't think there's an exact release date. I don't know whether we're going to release a whole album as such yet.
Okay.
I think we're gonna be doing it in bits and pieces, different singles, different EPs. So I'm not sure about an exact album.
Okay. Now, I know touring's on hold, obviously, until we all get through this and hopefully soon come out on the other side. But I do know that a lot of bands have been doing some live streaming, and I think that Lee's been doing a little bit on Facebook and whatnot. Is that something that the band has thought about doing with these new songs?
I think we have discussed a little bit of kind of acoustic live streaming. That's something that I could do. But obviously, I'm in England and the guys are in America, so there's all different time zones that come into the equation there.
Sure.
As well. Technology of how to get my kind of acoustic drum parts. I live in a flat in London.
Okay.
So noise restrictions. I do have a drum studio, but it's when I can get there. You're not supposed to go out unless it's a emergency
right
journey. So there's all different factors to kind of put into the equation. But it's definitely something that we would love to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I know that when you joined Pop Evil back in 2016, and you had mentioned that you guys had been ready for a break this winter because they were just relentless. I mean, they album, tour. They're just a machine. I mean, I think I've seen them at, I can't even count how many festivals that I've seen Pop Evil play at, because Pop Evil's always there. And they're always playing, and they're always awesome, and we always love to see them. And you have come into the band at that time and have played probably so many gigs that you never had that experience before. No small clubs, but now giant festivals. So is there a performance or something that kind of stands out to you as be like, wow, this is really happening?
Yeah, I mean, I was discussing with a friend of mine the other day about how, my touring life in America, I feel so blessed to have got that opportunity, and hopefully it's going to come back pretty soon. But the amount of places that I've seen all over America is just amazing. I mean, I had the kind of festival touring Europe kind of for years. And
right.
That was where I was, and then to have that same experience over America was just a dream come true. As far as like things that stick in my mind, like a particular festival, I think it was it Loud? Is it Loudwire? There was one where we were there was Skillet on the bill, and it was super hot. The Kentucky bourbon kind of, I'm a bit hazy here because I think.
Okay, yeah. In Kentucky they have Louder Than Life. Maybe that was it.
Louder Than Life, that's it. Louder Than Life, that's it. So, that really does stick in my mind. That was very early days, actually, of me and Pop Evil. We'd been on the road with a band called Smashing Satellites, and it was right at the transition. Chachi was leaving the band. I think he just left the band and I was in, and then we just ran into all the people that we'd been on the road with, and that was a very poignant time for me, I think. I really felt like at that point I was starting to make friends in America rather than just be sort of a visitor there, going onto the stage and doing my thing. I actually felt like I was starting to sort of solidify friendships, and that's a very important thing for a touring musician, and yeah, so that was a good one.
Awesome.
What else?
Now, what type of gear are you using right now? Because I know that every time I've seen you play, I can barely see you because you've got so much out there in your kit.
Yeah, so I'm with SJC now, and then it's all on Gibraltar hardware, Fabian cymbals, and Roland electronics. Kit-wise, I was in the process of starting to design a new kit.
Okay.
But so I don't know when
right.
to do that, because it's with me not being in America, it's like where do you send the drum kit? You can't send it to England. So so we're going to have to put that on hold. But I'm very excited about designing a whole new setup because some of these new songs are going to require a new setup. Now, that's not me saying it's going to be bigger than it is. It may actually look smaller. It's just going to be a different order of things. It may just look slightly different because I want to change the positioning of things and use different kind of cymbals and a couple of different electronics. So, it's just going to be reworking that. But as far as the finished details, I don't know them yet.
Okay, that's fair enough. Hopefully you'll be able to get onto that before the touring starts.
It's going to be really hard to top that kit. There's something really special about that kit. It said something before I'd even hit the stage. Like, as soon as it was unveiled, it was like, oh yeah, that's Hayley's kit. And to make another one like that is going to be pretty tricky. But I still want to make another kit that has that standout. I suppose my personality, along with obviously Pop Evil's personality as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't wait to see it, and more importantly, hear you play it.
Yeah, right? Oh, God, I'm desperate to get back. Desperate to get back. It just feels so strange at the moment. I mean, I am making the most of every moment at home. bought my own place with my fiance summer last year, and then spent the summer touring, not being at the home at all. So to actually get all this quality time here and enjoy the place is beautiful. But it's definitely an odd thing not knowing an exact date of when I'm going back to work.
Absolutely, I can understand that. We all love the live shows, and we all loved going to see them. And I'm kind of a concert fanatic, so I would be at every show that comes through my neck of the woods. And you don't realize how much you miss that until it's gone. So I can't even imagine how it feels for you.
Yeah, but I will say though, I feel like I've got one up on some people in this lockdown. I spend a lot of my time on a tour bus, which is a very small space. So
That's true.
I'm well used to being cooped up, and it does. But I will say it does take a mind shift, and anybody who's kind of struggling in the lockdown and feeling cooped up and. I'm thinking of them, because you do have to do a lot of work on yourself, and things that you find you get annoyed about things that you wouldn't normally get annoyed about, and you have to kind of just work on yourself and curb that frustration and anger. And in the end, it's a really great learning curve, and it makes you a better person. But it's a hard one to go through when you have to adjust to being kept in a very small space with.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people are struggling with it, and we can't wait to get onto the other side.
Yeah. But you know what? When we do get onto the other side, think of your touring musicians that go onto a bus, because they live it all the time. And I feel like it's in experiencing that. I always have done. I feel like it's made me a better person. In learning how to live with people in a very small space, you learn a lot about yourself, and it does forever change you. So if you're hating being locked away, just try and enjoy the process, and try and enjoy all the lessons you're learning about yourself and the others around you. You're getting to know things about your family and your partners that you never normally would have done, because you go out to work and you miss all that part. So yeah,
absolutely. Great advice.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today about the new songs, and we absolutely can't wait to hear more.
And vice versa. Thank you for talking to me and calling me all the way in England. I appreciate it. I feel very disconnected from my kind of life in America, so it's actually really lovely for me to receive a call and feel like I'm connected today. It's profoundly changed my week. Thank you.
Oh, awesome.